Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on a Wednesday. Coach Taylor, how we doing, my brother?
Hey, man, doing great. Great to be back with my brother from another mother, Coach Bald, the one and only Bald Coach K. And we went back to the original. We were doing the YouTube live. Now we're hitting it up on all streams again. We're going to
Yeah.
see how it goes. So today I said, how do you learn in life? And I was just thinking about some of the things you're going through, Coach Bald, some of the things I've been through. And how do you learn? What have you learned? And how do you learn in life? And we'll talk a little bit about NFL free agency.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, man. I think it's just going through the motion, man. You know, uh, Secondhand knowledge is a very important thing. And, secondhand knowledge is kind of like, when an uncle or dad or coach will say, if you touch that stove, man, that thing's hot. You know what I mean? And then firsthand knowledge is touching the stove and realizing it's hot, right away and everything. So yeah, man, there's a big difference in everything. And I think just going through stuff, challenging yourself, making it through difficult things. A lot of times people have that mentality of why me when instead they should have that mentality of try me and just, get after it, man, go after it. But yeah, man, free agency was pretty amazing too, man. I definitely want to get into that. But yeah, coach, how do you learn?
Well, first of all, I think you got to realize you're not very smart. And I'm not very smart. When I was a kid, I didn't think that I was smart as other kids, had to look on their papers. And this is the Life Lessons podcast. If you're just joining in, you can watch on YouTube at Totem Pole Nation, Coach Bald, Coach Taylor. And how do I learn? Man, I learn by making mistakes. And that's one thing they really don't tell you in school is that you got to make mistakes in order to learn. When you're a baby and you learn to walk, you fell down. When you learn to ride a bike, you fell off that bike. And if you weren't willing to fall off, you didn't learn how to do it. So, how do we learn? How do I learn? I learn by making mistakes. And I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I know I can always learn something from somebody. So, Coach Ball, what are you thinking about from what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, without a doubt. You know what I mean? That's why I like doing the podcast, man. It makes you a great listener and everything. You get to have good conversation and kind of go back and forth like that and whatnot. And yeah, man, I think everybody. There's so much going on now. You got so much on your cell phone that paying attention is going to be, just being able to pay attention to somebody. It's going to be a superpower one day because nobody can do it. Nobody can really do it.
Yes.
It's unfortunate because you do, man. You get trapped in that little phone that you have in your hand. You know what I mean? That little device right there. Like, yes, we have more things that we can look at to learn from, and that might just be a problem because you just got so much data and so many things that can, break your concentration and whatnot.
Yeah. So, you said that we can't concentrate. And when I listened to Dick Gregory's autobiography, one of the greatest autobiographies I've ever read or listened to, Dick Gregory said when he was a young black kid in Chicago in the 1930s or 40s, he was shining shoes in the bar. And he'd be shining shoes. At one time, a grown man came and kicked him in his mouth for holding a white woman's calf um, from shining the shoes. But a as soon as a bar fight would break out, the dude that owned the bar would jump from behind the bar and run over to the jukebox. And first thing he would do is he would unplug the jukebox. And he said that he learned right there that there was something about that frequency, that sound that was coming out of that jukebox, and how unplugging it could change the situation. Dude, I listened to Nas's Ether song, and that Ether thing that people, they believe in that. The fifth dimension, that they're like, after listening to that song, dude, I was ready to fight somebody. Like, yeah. I mean, that is one of the most vicious battle songs of all time, when Nas just ended Jay-Z as a battle rapper. So he knew there was something about that music, that vibration, that natural mystic that's flowing through the air, Coach Bald.
Yep. That's funny you mentioned that, because that makes me that gets me back in the day. I used to work at a place called Tiki Bob's Cantina.
Woo! Hey,
Right there in
I spent a week there one night.
Richmond, VA. And the last song of the night would be Build Me Up, Buttercup Baby, just to let me down. And that is a song where you're not really thinking about throwing hands when you hear that song. You just feel like singing, and for us, hopefully getting the hell out of there. So, yeah.
Build me up.
Why
Buttercup.
do you build me up, Buttercup Baby, just to let me down? Yeah, man. That would be our end of the road song.
It makes me think of TikTok. Build me up, Buttercup, just to break me down. Like, we're on the age dating apps started.
Yeah.
When we were young. And, you would get a young lady that would like your picture, and you send them a message, and you'd get that bell, that ding, that hit of dopamine. You get excited. Good morning, Elizabeth. How you doing?
Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning,
How about the Ravens? We're going to talk about that. But build me up, Buttercup, just to let me down. TikTok has figured it out, that they can build a person up and they don't get let down. Because every time they give a rose, they give a galaxy, they get a response.
Yeah.
And, man, it's just like, what is fake is real, and what is real is fake now. It's 1984, George Orwell. It's a brand new world. So, this is our life lesson for today. Now we get to talk about football, something we actually know about. So, well, Derrick Henry.
King Henry. What better job in the National Football League than to be the offensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens? You have the best running back in the league. You have the best running quarterback in the league. Wow, what a huge deal. I was hoping for the Cowboy fans that they would get him, because Jerry Jones in the offseason said that Cowboys were going what? All in. He said they were going all in on this season, and I believe they re-signed their long snapper. So,
yeah. So let me say something about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. There was a player that left Dallas and went to the Texans. I can't remember what his name was. But he said when he would be working out with the Dallas Cowboys, that you would be in the weight room and you'd look on the other side of the glass, and they would be having tours. They would be having tours going through the facility. And he said he felt like an animal. Like, people were just looking at him behind the glass. Felt like a gorilla in the zoo. And that just shows you the bottom line in the NFL ain't always to win. Because it costs money to win. You got to buy rings for everybody. You got to buy players. Not everybody's trying to win. Everybody's trying to make money because it's a business. Look at Dan Snyder, who owned my former team, the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
750. What did he pay for him? Was it 750 million? Yeah. And he sold him for $7 billion. He didn't win any championships. He
Dalton
fired a lot of
Schultz.
coaches.
Dalton Schultz was that tight end for. He was the tight end for the Cowboys. Now he's tight end for the Texans. Oh, dude, we got a good one coming today, brother.
Oh, we do? Yeah,
Way
so
out, little pink dot out there. You see it?
wow, man. What a beautiful sunrise, man. Daylight savings time, Coach. Are you a fan of daylight savings time?
Coach, this is the only good part about it. When we can do life lessons and you can watch this beautiful sun rise as we're speaking, the only good thing about it. Everything else is absolutely the craps.
I mean, a kid asked me in my class, Coach, why do we have daylight savings time? So I said, okay, let's go through this. Let's do like I'm not very smart. Let's use reason. Do you think that rich people or poor people had a say in starting daylight savings time? Rich people. Do you think that the rich people started daylight savings time to benefit them or to benefit the poor people? To benefit the rich people. Well, how did it benefit them? So they could make more money because they had more time for us to work.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a problem with this right now. See, it used to be you worked daylight or graveyard. Graveyard put you in an early grave. Now they got us working 8 hours a day for 3 shifts. It ain't no such thing as daylight and graveyard. It's 3 to 11. It's 11 to 7. It's 7 to whatever. They're making money 24 hours a day. Why do they need daylight savings time? Benjamin Franklin was the one that started this. And I bet you the Rockefellers had something to do with keeping it. So I don't think there's one American in this country that would vote, what's up, Fortnite, to keep daylight savings time. Free agency, Coach. Who won the quarterback free agency battle?
I mean, Atlanta is definitely Atlanta's the top pick so far, I would think, for free agency. But I mean, all they do, they jump up into that contender spot for the Bucks for the South. But I love what Tampa did, man. They brought their 3 best players back. Levante David's been one of the best linebackers in the league for the last 10 years. You don't hear about it, but he's legit. Them breaking Baker back and Mike Evans, I mean, that's huge. That's a huge deal right there. That's the key to free agency. If you got some studs, keep them in-house, man. Don't let them go nowhere else. And I think what Baker did, he paved the way for what Russell Wilson needs to do if he wants to sign a large contract with Pittsburgh. A 1-year deal, you're betting on yourself. Look what Baker's 1-year deal turned into. Turned into a 3-year, $100 million deal.
Woo!
Yep.
Woo!
What do you think? See that sun, brother?
Hey, man. I call my
man son because he shines like one.
Yeah, so if you're watching on TikTok, Coach Troy Taylor, jump over to YouTube. Get on YouTube. Watch Totem Pole Nation so you can see Coach Bald.
Yeah, my dog is not impressed. Can you see her?
He's got a beautiful background. Me, I got a background of pictures I ripped out of a Basquiat book. And a $15 Coach thing that I found, Coach, over on Midlothian Turnpike. All right. Yeah. Over near the Rock Church, where it used to be the Love of Jesus thrift store. Now they've rebranded it. Joe Hampton, what's up, brother?
Go Chargers. Go Chargers. Harbaugh's got the Gus bus there. He goes from Harbaugh to Harbaugh, man. Gus Edwards.
Mr. Poopy Butthole, I love you. All right. I know it's boring because you can't see the guy that's actually exciting on the other side. You got to go to Totem Pole Nation. But hey, man, as long as I got some of these other people in here, I love it. The Chargers' new coach, Jim Harbaugh. How long will it take him to be in the Super Bowl?
Coach, I wanted to let you know, too, I had to postpone a special podcast with my main man, Tyreek the Freak Robinson. We're talking about a guy that was 360 pounds. Now he's about 190. He's getting in fighting shape. He's going to start boxing here soon. I'm going to have him on at noon. Special shout out to him today. Today is his birthday, 26
Go
years
ahead.
gold for my man, Tyreek Robinson. Love you, my man. Can't wait to chop it up with you for sure.
New coach, new generation. The Chargers was the best job.
Yeah.
Out of all the jobs that were open in the NFL, the Chargers was the best job because they have the best quarterback. And my friend Alex Mariball, who is the offensive line coach of the Miami Hurricanes, he was the offensive line coach for the Oregon Ducks when Justin Herbert was there. And he told me, Justin Herbert is special. Justin Herbert is a wonderful person, not just a player and athlete, but a human being. And that's what you need running your organization in the NFL. Coach, anything else you could think about the Chargers?
Yes. Talk about that wide receiver coach that they had that you are in collabos with.
Yeah, well, he I don't know if he got fired or they tried to keep him, but dude, the Bears picked up my friend Chris Beatty. Chris Beatty now has gone over to the Chicago Bears to coach the receivers. So he's reunited with DJ Moore, who was his player at the University of Maryland. And who knows who they might get. I mean, Justin Fields is not going to the Falcons now. So
Yeah.
Justin Fields is probably going to play another year. And if he earns that big deal, he earns that big deal. But wow, if you can add a freakazoid receiver on the other side of DJ Moore with Justin Fields.
Without a doubt, man. They picked up DeAndre Swift, I believe, from the Eagles too. So that's a big pickup by those guys. If they could solidify that offensive line, which they drafted a couple guys last year, so they should be better this year. Absolutely, man. You get a guy like Harrison on one end, man, you got a bona fide stud of a team right there. You know, Minnesota, in my opinion, is kind of downtrodden. Wow. Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold. How are you feeling this morning, Justin Jefferson?
So is he the starter? No.
I, I mean, until they draft somebody, he is.
Yeah. So when are the
somebody.
Vikings picking in the draft?
I want to say they're around 12 or 13. Yeah, I want to say they're around 12 or 13. So they'll get the next tier. They won't be able to get the top three guys, but I think you're looking at a JJ McCaffrey there, or JJ McCarthy there, around that spot.
So Mac Jones, Mac Jones got traded to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And that is his hometown. He's from Jacksonville, Broyles High School. And it's one of the powerhouses. Chipper Jones played quarterback and, whatever position he wanted to on the baseball field. So he went back home. Dude, it's not a bad move. I mean, Mac Jones was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick picked him, not because he was stupid. All right? I mean, as soon as you lose your quarterback in the NFL, you got to have another guy. Jimmy Johnson's old saying is, if you have two guys, you got no guys. Well, they got their guy in Trevor Lawrence, and they got their guy Mac Jones, who, I mean, dude, Mac Jones, there's nothing wrong with being a Tyrod Taylor. You can have a long career in the NFL and make a lot of money and become a coach one day. What do you think about that move?
Hey, man, I that's what they're going to have to do. I think the move that I thought was pretty, had to stand back and take a look at was Drew Lock going to New York, man. I like that move by them. I don't know what's going to happen with Danny Dimes, but this guy, Drew Lock, I think sitting for a while and watching Geno do his magic. And then when he was able to get in there, him to keep the offense going and excel as well, I think Drew Lock could be a guy that you could see step up and he might be able to win some games for the Giants, man. The Giants are a team that has obviously they've done some things in free agency. You know, losing Saquon was pretty terrible for them, but they picked up some guys on the defensive side of the ball, especially at the defensive line, getting Burns there, man. You know, I think that move mixed with the lock, and I think that was a good move for those guys. I don't know if Danny Dimes is going to be the guy there. He can't seem to stay healthy, and like we always say, Coach, the best ability is availability. You know.
Yeah. So Joe Ham Joe Hampton has written, "It sucks we may lose a lot of great veterans as Bosa, Mack, and possibly Keenan Allen, but I believe Jim Harbaugh is trying to revamp with a younger, tougher team. I have faith in Harbaugh as our coach." Well, dude, you at least have a guy that has done it before.
Yep.
He's won everywhere he's been. I mean, the dude humbled himself and was the head coach at the University of San Diego, a non-scholarship school, before he went to Stanford and won. And then he went to the 49ers and won. And then he went to Michigan and won. The one thing about Jim Harbaugh is you got to have people around him, ownership, GMs, that can tolerate Jim Harbaugh, because Jim Harbaugh is a different bird.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat chicken because chicken is a scared bird. All right. Yeah. Jim Harbaugh wears the same pair of Walmart khakis every day. Like, he can wear people thin.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I like the move getting him. I think what you need to, when you're in that division, the bullseye's got to be on Kansas City, and the best way to defend Pat Mahomes is to keep Pat Mahomes on the sidelines. So I definitely see them, with a phenomenal ground and pound football game. I would not be shocked to see them pick a couple of backs in this year's draft. You never know. That kid from Michigan that was such a stud for the past couple seasons and basically ran those guys into the national championship. I would not be surprised if you didn't see them pick that kid up in the second round or trade up to get him at a particular spot. But I can promise you that they will be a much tougher football team. And yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to get rid of some big contracts and some guys that might be their best years might be in their past. Unfortunately, Mac, I still think definitely has a few more years. Bosa as well. Keenan Allen, he's up there as a receiver. But yeah, man, try to get some value from those guys while you still can.
well, that means that they're perfect trade bait to the Washington Commanders. The Commanders love has-been players or guys that are on the downhill of their career. Trust me, I've been watching them for a long time. And since Dan Snyder took over, that's what his MO's been. But now he's gone, so it's a new day and age in Washington. Kirk Cousins. Is he another Matt Ryan? Because I always thought Matty Ice was great at the end of the game. Like the 2-minute Matty Ice. Kirk Cousins, at least Atlanta has an established NFL quarterback. No offense to Taylor Heineke. I love you, Taylor. I'm a big fan of you, ODU. I loved you with Washington when you would come in. But Desmond Ritter's from Cincinnati. He's unproven. What do you think about Kirk Cousins going to the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge deal for them. They picked up their receiver Mooney from the Bears as well, a kid that can stretch the field. You got Kyle Pitts, a tight end who is drafted high, but has not really had anybody to throw to him. I think he had Mariota for a year, and then the kid they had last year. They got 2 stud running backs. They got Drake London, man. They've got some playmakers. So I think bringing in a guy like Cousins is a good move. I think he's a player that can be there for the next 3 or 4 years. His main thing is healthy. He's got one blown Achilles, and that's a huge injury to come back from. That is a very long injury. So if he can come back at 100%, I definitely think they step up to where they'll be battling with Tampa for that division. I still think Carolina is that they've got a ways away. The New Orleans Saints, I'm not really sure what they're doing there. They're kind of in a flux right there with Derek Carr and their coaches. I don't really know that. To me, they're just in that middle tier to bottom tier. But yeah, I think that division's going to go to the Bucks or the Falcons. And I do. I like what they did. I thought that was a very smart move. You're getting a proven guy that he's gonna make some guys some plays for sure. And them having the two running backs, I think, is definitely going to help them out. So yeah, man, I like the move on with them getting Cousins. I'll tell you another move that I like is from your Commanders. Speaking of Mariota went there. So I think he's going to be a guy that's going to groom your quarterback. That kind of tells me they're probably done with who was the kid for you guys last year?
Sam Howell?
I think they got to be done with him, man. I mean,
How could they be done with him? Are they going to have to trade him?
I think he's just going to be a guy that sits there and he's maybe your inactive game. You want a guy to model after. That's probably going to be Mariota. But the pickup I definitely liked by them was them picking up Lakewood's Dante Fowler Jr. He's a guy that's everywhere he goes, he brings pressure. So you got a good defensive lineman with him. I believe you guys picked up Cleedon Farrell too, a defensive.
Oh, go ahead, Richmond, Virginia, baby. Yeah. Mike Mayock, thank you for getting him paid. Mike Mayock, thank you.
Oh, he made him a very rich man, and the Redskins also picked up the Washington football.
You can say Redskins, dude. Okay,
yeah, we're old school
here. You can say
here.
Redskins here, bro. Okay. It is what it is. Like, we're old. It was the Redskins for our whole life. It's like my dad calling them the Washington Senators or something. Come on, man. Like, we can't change. It's been the Redskins. It's a derogatory term. We know that. But we're not here to debate all that stuff, right? But
yeah, man, they went out and picked up a center from the Dallas Cowboys, so I think that's a good fit for them. Offensive line and defensive line. That's kind of, in my opinion, in free agency, a great place to build because you're probably going to get a starter or two on both sides of the ball, and that's going to be clutch. Especially when you're going to have this draft that may bring in another young guy to be able to follow suit of a Dante Fowler. So yeah. I like those pickups by them, man. The Mariota, to me, that's just them getting a guy to groom. Them picking up Zach Ertz kind of before free agency started. I thought that was a good move because the guy, he's a hell of a receiving, tight end. He's not gonna be putting guys in the dirt, blocking wise like a Gronkowski. But the guy can catch some passes, so I think he's a great outlet receiver for what they got going on there in Washington.
So, Russell Wilson to the Steelers. People have questioned that. And, why would the Steelers get him when they got Kenny Pickett? Dude, I saw somewhere that they're paying Russell like $1 million a year. Like, I would have been all over that.
Yeah.
I would have been all over that to get Russell for a year or 2 years for $1 million. Like, how can you go wrong? Yeah. Are you worried about him ruining your locker room? Like, dude, he's a good kid. He's a good dude. I mean, I know his wife is Sierra and everybody, people love her or, they hate her or whatever reason. She's a celebrity.
Yep.
I mean, he's married to someone from Hollywood, from the industry. But I'm not going to say I knew him, but I met him when he was a kid. He is from Richmond, Virginia. And it's good for him to come back and be reunited with the guy from Virginia, Mike Tomlin. And maybe Russell can remember who he is. Because, dude, he ain't a West Coast guy. He ain't a Wisconsin guy. I mean, he really ain't even an NC State guy. It's UVA and Virginia Tech's fault that they didn't offer Russell Wilson. They said he liked baseball too much. Well, there's a lot of – Deion liked baseball. Bo Jackson liked baseball. Kyler Murray likes baseball. But what a steal for our girl MK. MK, we love you. I know you're around somewhere, but the Steelers adding Russell Wilson – I mean, I think that's a steal for $1 million, man. What do you think? Am I off on that?
No, man, you're dead on. I mean, it's basically the same deal. I think it was a little more than 1 million. I think maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. But it's basically that's chump change for quarterbacks. I mean, backups are getting paid more than that. But basically, that's a 1 year deal, kind of betting on himself. It's the same. It's the same kind of mode that Baker Mayfield did. Just do what Baker Mayfield did, basically. And he's a guy that has a lot of the same intangibles. He's got a
Yeah.
strong arm. He can move. He's got and he's got some swag to him. But I tell you what, yeah, you mentioned kind of is it baggage about his Hollywood and all that stuff. Well, I'll tell you what. You're not going to get Russell Wilson. You're not going to get a message on your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning that Russell Wilson got a DUI or splattered somebody on a car or something like that. The kid ain't going to make that kind of mistake. You know what I mean? And that's the
Yeah.
kind of leader that you want as the face of the franchise. The Pittsburgh Steelers are known as a good physical, one of the best fan bases in the world, in America, man.
I mean, maybe one of the best franchises
Dude, no matter
in the
where they
world.
play at, Steeler Nation, the Terrible Towels are going to be there, and they're going to be going ham during the game. Great fan base. And, yeah, man, they love hard-nosed players. They might not like them now, but I promise you this. 4th and 2, when he scrambles and he gets you that 3 yards to win the game, you're going to get on the guys. You're going to get on them, and you're going to roll with them. You know what I mean? So I do, man. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be good for those guys, man. They're a gritty, gutty football team, and you're going to see very similar to what he had in Seattle with a power rushing attack, what he had with Marshawn Lynch. I think he's going to have it there with the 2 backs that they have in Pittsburgh. And you're going to see a lot of 3rd down and shorts, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3. That's where he can excel because he's dynamic, man. He can do both. He can run, he can pass. He's a dual threat, man, and I still think he's got some years under his belt. Plus, he's got a chip on his shoulder. I promise you that. Only getting
Yeah.
4 million
So
or 5 million.
leaving Russell Wilson, where do the Broncos go? Like,
Man,
would you bring Drew Brees out of retirement? Do you buy him a new arm to go with his hair plugs? Like, what? Where do they go, Sean Payton? Like, dude, I thought you and Russell would have made a good combination. Like, he could have played from the pocket, I thought, like Drew. I mean, Drew's a Hall of Famer, I guess. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. I mean, he's got all kinds of records. But, like, where did the Broncos go? What quarterbacks are on
man,
that team? On that, who was the backup? Who took his job?
man, they are in very
Wasn't the
bad.
kid Drew Lock? Wasn't Drew Lock?
No, man. He was with Seattle. Man. The Denver Broncos are in big trouble, dude. Denver Broncos probably couldn't make college football playoffs next year, is what I'm thinking. They're going to be that bad. Yeah, man. I'm trying to think of who they have on their roster that can throw the ball. And I
Well,
mean, it's not good, man. I want to say, let's see here. Let's see
why
if I can-
why you look that up? Why you looked that up about the Broncos?
Yeah.
The Cousins went to the Falcons. Russell Wilson went to the Steelers. Derrick Henry just went to the Ravens. Chris Jones got re-signed by the Chiefs. I mean, are there any other big name NFL free agency deals that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think we got most of the guys. The only 2 I think that could still possibly have an
Saquon
impact.
went to the Eagles.
Yeah, you could have Joe Flacco show up somewhere and kind of coach a guy for a year. You could have Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill's a guy that battled a lot of injury. I think Will Levis is going to take that job. But check this out, Coach. On that roster, Jarrett Stidham, who played.
Yeah, Jarrett Stidham. He played for the Patriots.
And then I want to say UFSL's own Ben Narducci.
Okay, so they're going to get a quarterback.
But they're hurt.
Sean Payton is going to scour the country, and he's going to find another Tony Romo. He went to whatever directional Illinois school that is. Eastern Illinois, Western Illinois, Southern Illinois, Northern Illinois, one of those Illinois schools. And there's been so many great players that have came out of there. He found Tony Romo when he's with the Dallas Cowboys as Bill Parcells' offensive coordinator. Sean Payton kind of hangs his hat on being a quarterback guru. That's the problem. You can't have an NFL veteran who's been in the league for 10, 12 years and match him up with the quarterback guru. Like, It's like Brady going with Bruce Arians. Like, they won a Super Bowl, but Bruce Arians also got fired to get promoted. And he's going to go find a quarterback, dude. There's probably one out there that he likes. And the thing is, there's so much misinformation. It's almost like CIA. It's like covert. Like they'll drop information, bad information about a dude just so he'll fall. Yeah. Like Randy Moss, Warren Sapp. Yeah, they'll do it. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers. Oh, how about this? Aaron Rodgers for vice president?
Yeah, I saw that break last night. Something
else. Dude, that just shows you. Shout out to all the lobbyists.
What a country.
Shout out to all the people who are the puppet masters.
What a country.
That are controlling this thing and creating illusions. I mean, you have a Kennedy and you have an NFL quarterback on the same ticket. I mean, wow. You really don't want Donald Trump to be president again.
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers is conservative enough and liberal enough. He went to Cal. I mean, he's on Joe Rogan's team. He's on Pat McAfee's team, which means he's on Disney's team. He's on ESPN's team. And wow. I mean, dude, I don't even blame Aaron Rodgers. Like, dude, they're going to snap you in two when you come back. They snapped you into your first game in New York. They're doing this junk on purpose. They're stopping, dropping, and rolling and hoping they hear something pop or snap.
Crack, snap, pop.
Yeah. Snap, crackle, pop.
But right, yeah, Coach, as I look at the draft order here, you got Bears 1, Commanders 2, Patriots 3, Arizona 4. Arizona could be a spot you see some people jump up. But I'm going to keep going. Chargers at 5. Chargers, they could be a team I could see trading back, getting more value. And you're going to have guys wanting to jump up and get a quarterback there. Giants 6, Titans 7, Falcons 8. Bears will have their second pick. You believe that? 2 picks in the top 10? Wow.
Bryce Young. It doesn't guarantee success, though. I mean, the Redskins had all those picks from trading with for Ricky Williams, with the Saints.
Yeah.
But they got LeVar Arrington and what's his name? Samuels, the offensive tackle. But they never turned it into wins.
Back-to-back first and second round picks. Unbelievable.
I don't think LeVar, like his knock was he wasn't tough from what I've heard. Yeah. I mean, Samuels, he's a potential Hall of Famer. He was like 20-year vet or something crazy. Like he played forever. And yeah, dude, it's going to be interesting. This NFL draft and Totem Pole Nation, like we're going to be there. We're going to be live streaming the draft. Like, dude, there ain't no way. I'm going to start doing my homework. Okay? And I'm coming for you. Eddie Munster. Count Chocula.
Yeah, man. You should grow the hair out.
Mel Kiper.
And
I don't want to say nothing bad about the guy from University of Richmond, who does the draft.
Where is he at now? Is he even with anybody?
MK. He might have gotten let go, dude. I don't know.
Been let go for a long time. MK.
Welcome back. You just motivated me, Coach Bald.
Hey man, let's do it.
Like, I'm gonna do my homework on this draft. I'm gonna do my homework. I'm going to be ready. And we're going to live stream this junk. And I hope you can join us because Totem Pole Nation, like, I just looked, we're getting ready to have our 2-year anniversary of Totem Pole Nation. We've only been making original content since October a year ago. Not last October, but 2 Octobers ago. So we're just getting started. MK, Russell Wilson, I think y'all made the move of free agency to get him for what, $1 million, $2 million. I mean, that's nothing. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for Russell. He's from Virginia. Mike Tomlin's from Virginia. And we're just happy. We're happy for him. And the Bills, your original team, your long lost love, dude. What a terrible thing to be a Bills fan. They care more than anybody, dude. Those people were heartbroken when that guy missed that field goal. I mean, dude, it was Scott Norwood all over again.
Yep. No matter how good my life can be, I still got my Buffalo Bills to break my heart.
Wow. They got Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky, hey, how's it going? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything. Do what you need.
Placeholder.
Dude, Mitch Trubisky started for 1 year at the University of North Carolina. And Bill Parcells always said, you never draft a quarterback that's only a 1-year starter in college. Yeah. And Mitch Trubisky is a lot like Josh Allen. He just doesn't have the intangibles that Josh Allen has. So I guess he's the backup plan in case something happens to Josh. But I don't, thank you, but I don't, I don't know a lot about what the Bills need. What do they need? I mean, they're right there, man. They're a field goal away from probably playing for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they lost a lot, man. They definitely lost a lot on the defensive side, especially in the defensive backfield. They lost their starting stud corner, but he was coming off 2 injuries, and they lost both safeties, which one signed with the Dolphins. That's the thing I want to get into, Coach.
The Dolphins.
That's the thing I want to talk about now, Coach. Is look at all the guys that jump to teams in their division.
There's a reason for that. That's intentional, man. And it's not the players. It's the people in the front offices. They want information on these teams. They want to know what they do. They want to know how they do it. They want to know everything because they know if they can win that division, I mean, they could have a potential of having a bye game and only winning 3 games, right? Was it 3 or 2 to win a Super Bowl? If you get the wild card, yeah, you have to win 3. You have to win 3 games to win the world championship. So the Dolphins, the Bengals, the Bengals might have the best quarterback in football. I mean, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes ain't the best quarterback, but like Joe Montana, Tom Brady type, like Burrow is it. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they're more, to me, like the Brett Favre-ish, Steve Young gunslingers. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just make stuff happen, dude. They do stuff that you're like, he shouldn't do that. But he does it, and then coaches try to coach it. Like, dude, you can't coach what Patrick Mahomes does. Throw late across the middle, that's called a punt. Man, dude, we're fired up, man. I guess it's because it's football time.
Hey, man, football's a lot of fun. Football's a lot of fun. Yeah,
football's a lot of fun.
How about Patrick McQueen, the middle linebacker of the Ravens, going to the Steelers? Ooh. Man, that's just going to make that division that much better. That black and blue division, I cannot wait to watch those games, man. You talk about just a Oh man, it's going to be brutal in those games. Love it, man. Love what all those teams are stocking up, except the Bengals, man. Except the Bengals. So it's got to
So
be
the
fun.
Bengals, they lost Mixon. Um,
I believe they're going to lose Higgins too, the big time receiver.
yeah. All right, brother, wrap us up. I got to get ready to go. I love you.
Totem Pole Nation, check back in today at 12. I got a huge podcast going on with the birthday boy, my boy Tariq Robinson. He's going to be giving you guys some life lessons himself. The guy went from 360 down to 190, and we're going to hear all about it. But besides that, Totem Pole Nation, you guys to the next episode.